Hey, Stay, how's it going?
Adam, pretty good. Welcome everyone to Hardcover number 43. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Um, my wife and I took like a staycation yesterday. We went out to, there's like this ski deal that one of the ski resorts has, where it was like you could stay for the night, get two classes with instructors, and rent like ski gear for like what should have just been the cost of like a one night stay at a hotel. And so it was kind of like a locals only deal. So we did that yesterday, and I got to take a snowboard lesson while my wife took a skiing lesson.
Wow, okay. So it's still snowing in Salt Lake City, I reckon.
A little bit, at least up in the mountains. Not so much down here. Like looking at the mountains, the lower ones, like below 8,000 feet, are pretty bare, but above that, there's still some snow on there.
Okay. Is it usually snowing? I'm asking because it's so cold over here. It's like in winter. It was like 9 Celsius today, which is, I mean, I dress my kid like in the middle of winter. So yeah, with
Yeah,
like fluffy overalls, and I had my winter jacket as well. So yeah, not good times. And now it's weird because the day, I mean, living in the northern hemisphere means the day in summer gets so long, and now it's long and cold for some reason, and it's April.
yeah. It's been a really nice spring here. Like it's just starting to get a little warmer. But like basically you can like do well with just like a hoodie like this. So and then take it
Okay,
off when it
that's
when it gets too hot.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And how did snowboarding go?
It went pretty well. Like I probably fell maybe 30 times in 3 hours or 2 hours. But
Ah, that's
uh,
good. Yeah.
yeah, I think I learned a lot. And by the end, I was like going down a slope on a snowboard, which is, I guess,
Okay.
success.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge progress. Yeah, snowboards are always like so difficult. I mean, yeah, it's I think the coordination is like pretty different. Skis, it's just like the same movement, left, right. Snowboard is like you have to do something with your left foot and something with your right foot and something with your hip,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, what the hell? And I know because I'm not like so good at coordinating movement. I'm kind of like clumsy. So yeah, I had a really tough time like rep trying to understand the movement, but yeah, I guess I was overthinking it maybe.
Did you take some snowboarding or skiing lessons or tried it out?
Yeah. In my I haven't done it for like well a lot of years, but in my teens, yeah, we had like pretty good and cheap ski resorts back home in Romania. So
Mhm.
uh, I did that, and I wasn't. I mean, I could go on the advanced slopes, but I didn't like to. You'd see in the videos like that kind of. But yeah, I had a hard time learning it. I remember the falls. They're so much worse than ski falls because you tumble and board is up in the air and whatever.
Yeah. And just like getting up from a fall.
Oh,
Like
oh yeah.
I
Oh,
like I was able to like I wasn't able to get up when like my board was downhill, and I was trying to get
yeah.
up because I would like be getting up and I would be like moving as I was getting up. So I'd have to like turn over and like lay on my belly and then
Yeah.
get up like that
Yeah.
with my knees.
Yeah.
Like
That's the most.
um, a lot of respect for like just winter athletes.
Uh huh. Yeah. It's very hard. Snowboarding in particular. I mean, yeah, I have flashbacks of how how it was to just like move from the place you fell like face down. So yeah, uh, I can relate fully with that struggle.
Yeah. How about you? What have you been up to lately?
Oh well, I'm finally back home in London, so this feels good. I've been like getting in my routine. So that's okay, especially with a kid. That's like way easier. Yeah, he's happy as well because he's home. So not a lot of like stimuli going like all over. Other than that, just like staying in and taking one small like short walk per day because it's so cold.
Yeah. Is there like an activity you do when it's that cold that besides like,
Uh,
staying in?
yeah, just staying in and right now, basically, baby, taking care of the baby.
Yeah. Makes
He's
sense.
learned to crawl now, so yeah, a whole other set of challenges, I guess.
I was reading about
Yeah.
like in Scandinavia, there's like this like normalized thing for like taking your baby out in a stroller and having them take a nap outside in like really
Hmm.
cold weather.
Yeah, it's like -20 Celsius, and they leave them outside. I know about that as well. So they really do it. We have some friends from that live in Norway right now, and yeah, they're like super hardcore on their kids. They're just like, I mean, they wrap them up real tight, and I mean, judging by how I think that must feel like sleeping like really snuggled when it's -20 outside, so it's like ice cold. That must feel pretty good. I mean, unless your parents have done a bad job layering, so
Mm,
you freeze your ass up. But I mean, I'm guessing they have like good clothing in Norway. But
yeah,
yeah, they're pretty hardcore. I mean,
that sounds kind of nice.
yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I'm starting to see more and more people like um, out just laying out under the sun on a blanket now. Want to like grab a book and find a spot now.
Yeah, that's not too bad. So out in the cold, like just like
Yeah, like
cold
50,
bathing, or yeah.
pretty nice temperatures, like 50s, 60s here.
Okay. Ah, that works. That works. That's nice. And how have you been like winding down from your Seoul trip?
Um, Mostly just getting back into the rhythm of things here. Like yeah, between like the Seoul trip last week and then the ski trip which was just like a one night overnight. I'm I feel like now I have like nothing else planned until like this summer.
That's good. That's good.
So yeah,
Nice. More time to work on the hardcover stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Speaking
speaking
of
of
which,
which, yeah. We're doing widgets today. So that dashboard everybody probably has seen on Discord. Uh, For that one, we did a survey a while back, and people told us which widgets they want to see on the dashboard. And right now, we're actually building it. We have sort of the basics laid out, and today we're gonna design some of the widgets that the people have voted for the most. And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I'm excited about this one. I think the idea is that like the the feed, which is kind of like the home right now on hardcover, we're kind of planning on switching over from that to the dashboard being kind of the home spot when you click on the home button on the app, and also probably like the place you get redirected to when you log in. The feed would still be around, you'd still be able to access it, and probably some of those feed items will also show up in the dashboard eventually. But we're thinking of this as like that portal to hardcover that's customized to your data and what you want, and you can select what widgets you want to show up on your own dashboard.
yeah, it's gonna be pretty nice, and people have been asking for this. I think there's like just one other app that does this, pretty different than how we plan planet, but it's nice to log in and see your whole overview. I mean, I guess it gives you like a feeling of control over what's happening. And it also looks good. I mean, I'm a sucker for dashboards, just like seeing everything. We have that dashboard that you set up, Adam, with the hardcover numbers. And sometimes I just like, when I move away from the computer, I just leave that on, and that's like sitting there. Kind of makes you feel like you're in one of those sci-fi movies and you're watching the numbers go up.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll open that like once a day often and check out a couple things. And yeah, it's nice because like once you get used to your layout that you're like, especially one that you designed for this dashboard, your eyes will go to like the places where you know to look already. And so
Hmm.
yeah, I'm excited to both like create this but also use it.
Yeah, yeah. Should we jump in the Figma and try
Yeah.
to figure things out? Let's see if I can. Do you want to share the screen, or should I?
Maybe you should because I know
Yeah.
you're a little faster with Figma.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm on the trackpad, so let's see how fast that actually is. But here we go. So sharing Figma.
Cool.
Boom. Okay. Cool. So I clean stuff up a bit. I still have to clean our designs, but this is like active development, what we're doing now. And as everyone can see, we're working on the dashboard, the reading journey, the letter lists, and the navigation. This is pretty much done. And then the discussions, which is after we do this probably,
Oh,
and a
nice.
few other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, very clean.
So yeah, still, still could use a bit more cleanup, but yeah, as we go along. This is the dashboard. Okay, so this is like the first version we designed. So maybe it's useful to drop a list of the things people have been voting on. Let me see if I can fetch it,
Yeah,
or if you have it
yeah,
open,
I
Adam.
can copy it over real quick.
Yeah.
So these ones, let's make this text a little bigger. Yeah, over here to the right of where you are. I just dropped them.
Here we go. Okay, so this is like the first four requests. It's books I'm currently reading with an easy ability to update progress, voted by 84% of people. Recommendations based on your reading goals, and book releases for authors you follow, and relevant upcoming book releases. Okay, so this would be like the top four. Um, and I think the first one, we can start from this maybe. This is the first one that I think corresponds to books I'm currently reading. So, reading right now, yeah, it would basically be that.
Mhm.
Let me make some space over here. So, this is like the dashboard structure. So, let's push this a bit. Actually, let's just copy the page maybe and delete all of these. So, we have like a clean slate. Okay, so
And one of
cool.
the things that we've been talking about for this dashboard is that each of these widgets would work either on desktop or mobile, and that there's potentially different sizes for each widget. But
Yes.
I think that that's gonna be variable on the widget. So probably not every widget needs to be multiple sizes.
Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, we do have, so this widget right here, for instance, like reading right now, it's we have three columns basically over here, and I was thinking that for mobile this could basically be just like a little bit tweaked, so this fits pretty well. So it could just be like as big as this one, so we just like adjust the width. Uh And there's also these ones. Let's say you have the reading goal one, and this would basically, it can be kind of like this.
Mm.
So I guess some don't need that much adaptation. So the fact that the dashboard is already like laid out into columns makes it easier. Um, I was actually thinking like out of these widgets, which would require a different layout on mobile, and I pretty much think that all of these can go one underneath the other and just have like uh, different heights. What do you think?
Um, yeah, I think so. I think we might end up. It might make sense to do like some that are like square, like these two boxes that you have here on the mobile one.
Mm-hmm.
But those could probably be things like your goal progress in a small version that just shows it almost like an Apple ring or
Mm,
some
nice.
small or like other visualizations. Like as we bring in stats from your stats section and turn those into widgets, I could see some of those being smaller ones too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and the smaller ones can be like as small as this one on desktop as well. So if they work on mobile, I'm thinking, we could fit two of these in here, or we could just like adapt them to, so yeah, have
Yeah.
them like this. Okay, so maybe let's bring in this right now. So we've got the current reading widgets. Let me turn on the columns as well. Maybe that's helpful. Here we go. So over here, this is for like if you're reading two books. If you're reading one, it could just be uh, a slightly more, uh, slightly smaller widget, kind of like this. But my question is like, what alternative way of how it can look were you thinking about? We could
Yeah.
remove this for now.
Yeah.
Let's just like design it.
I'm thinking, so let's see if this is like the one way. I'm thinking like if you are reading multiple books, you probably want them all to show up on your dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking
Should
like
Yeah.
maybe we don't need these. We just always show all of them.
Okay. What do you think about having a kind of carousel-like thing where you can just like side scroll or something?
I think we should. I think this is kind of the most important thing. Like we just show all of them. Like
Okay.
because from one of the things that I've talked to a lot of people about like reading multiple books. There's a lot of people who have like an audio book and a digital book or a physical book or maybe a nonfiction and a fiction, and they'll be making like little bits of progress in both of them. And so making it like super
Okay.
easy to like today I'm updating this one, today I'm updating that one.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, let's do that then. So here we go. I remove this button. But given that this widget probably have a fixed height, I'm guessing they could be like could be scrollable, so you would scroll it, or were you thinking to just like adapt the widgets to make it as big as you know the number of books you have currently reading?
Yeah, that's that's actually a good question because like if we're trying to create
Yeah.
a dashboard with fixed rows and columns, we would either have to know it ahead of time or dynamically just do it. And
yeah, it could be like scroll area. So if you have more books, you can just scroll like, and you can update. Or we can just make it adaptable according to the number of books you're reading. But you know, that might be tricky because at some point, let's say you're reading 10 books, you're not, I mean, no matter how we adapt it, I'm guessing the difference between one book and 10 books is going to be huge. So
yeah, it seems like at some time it's going to need to change its shape. But yeah, I wonder about like the is there, how do you show like the columns so you can see like how many columns something is?
over here in layout grid. So
Okay.
yeah, should I make them more? Yeah, let's make them slightly more visible. Yeah, and you can toggle them. Yep.
Cool. Yeah.
So
okay, so this is the equivalent of 4 columns now, and
can be like 8 columns, and you can have like smaller books, I'm guessing. So it could fit about 6 books in the bigger one. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, you couldn't.
yeah. So one of the things that I was thinking for these widgets that we'll probably need, and this comes into play especially for like the stats ones, is like aside from just small, medium, large customizations or size customizations, however we decide on that, it's like settings for each individual widget might be needed. So for instance, if you're tracking your pages read, for instance, you could track your pages read per day, per month, or I'm thinking of like stats in general. So I guess that's kind of a question in my mind. One way to go is we create all these individual widgets that are customized for like, here are your 2024 stats, here are your 2024 stats by month, here are them by day, and create those as different widgets. And in another situation, we create a like pages read widget, and then we have a setting for like pages read by day, pages read by week, pages read by month, and the widget knows how to kind of adjust accordingly.
I think that would be better. That makes more sense just hearing it. So you'd have like a widget pages read, and you could maybe have a drop down that says pages read by month, day, year, or whatever you choose. I mean, that kind of makes more sense. I mean, that's pretty easy because it doesn't change in size, which is quite different from this one. But I'm thinking that could be the approach. So you'd have like, depending on the widget, a way to customize what it's showing in some cases.
Yeah. So for something like this one, for like currently reading, I think I'm gonna change this to currently
Of
reading.
course, go ahead. Yeah.
Just to match over with our other terminology. So maybe like on the settings for currently reading, maybe you have like number of books that you want to show, and that number dynamically sets the number of rows that this will take up. That way, it's maybe like that way, like even if there are 10 books or 3 books, if they've said, give me 5 books worth of height, it'll always use 5 books worth of height.
Mm-hmm. That could work. I'm thinking like, what if, I shared that Bento tool a while ago where you could set the size of the widgets. So let's say, for some widgets you have 3 sizes, because I'm thinking like set the number of books. It does sound a bit unclear, I guess. So let's say you'd have like small, large, and yeah, you'd have like 3 options for size, and each option would, so for instance, the small widget would only show 2 books, the medium widget would show 4 books. So we'd have defaults, just like you'd have the number of books, but instead of the number of books, you'd have something we can use on other widgets as well, which is the size of the widget that we can customize. I can show you real quick on the actual hardcover Bento site.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Let me change the tab so everybody sees it. So bento.me/hardcover. So I'm gonna share the screen for Bento. Where is it? Where is it? Hardcover app. Here we go. So let me log in. Okay, so this is how they handle the widgets. So when you change them, let me just fetch my password so I can log in. Here we go. Okay, so see, they have this one, and you can actually change the size
Oh yeah.
of. This is pretty cool. I mean, we could do this. This is like ideal for.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and depending on the size, you can actually set what's shown. So if you have the small size, it just shows this. If you have the medium size, it shows it like this. If you have the whatever size this is, it shows it like this. And on mobile, you can just like do the same thing and place stuff around and
The little like while you were dragging, it had like I think it was using like the accelerometer, like physics to decide like how much it was like moving left to right. That was a neat like dragging effect.
Yeah, this is very good and clean. So I was imagining, this is how it could look like, and it only shows up on hover when you're editing the actual the actual order. So I don't know. That seems pretty clean, and it's a universal control. I mean, I'd rather have that than something like particular to each widget. But I don't know, maybe it's better to have something for each one.
Well, maybe we can focus on this one and then we'll see like what that leads into, because I have a feeling if we get this one right, then we'll kind of know like the sizes that it needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that sounds good.
And
Uh,
and I was thinking we could
so for the yeah.
maybe add something similar to our goal one, like on a per thing basis.
Oh yeah.
And that's just a straight copy, but something something that quickly
No, that's good.
indicates like
Yeah.
your progress.
Yeah, that's good. And what about the way to update it? I had this button over here, which I don't love, but it was the only thing that was clear enough. Let's do this so it's like more subtle. I know some people don't like that yellow, so we can maybe accommodate for them.
Or we can make
And
that
we can just
like green or something to indicate the part that you've read.
oh
Is
yeah,
that
green could work. Well, yeah, that's nice.
yeah.
And what about the update button?
Yeah. So I guess like we need to figure out if we want to edit in like right now we have the book button. When you click update progress, it pulls up the either the drawer or like the little window for editing. We could pull up that skip straight to that page or that drawer if you're on mobile with an update button. That might be the quickest way. Or another way is like, this slider has a range slider in it, and you can just drag the range slider right there and update your progress.
That's cool. But
And
on mobile, we have to ditch that. I can't imagine. And I'm pretty good with like uh how to drag it, but yeah, we'll have lots of people saying I couldn't drag this to the exact place I'm in like in the book. So yeah, let's just trigger the I'm guessing on
and
desktop as well. It's gonna be annoying to nail it exactly where it
there's
should be.
there's also the option that this field, like the 324 and the
Mm,
64%, like we can make all of
yeah.
these variable and editable, and then the slider is just like a third way of editing it. So you could edit it by your page number, your percentage, or the slider.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Yeah. And try to keep it like as uh similar to this as possible. I mean, not make it like an input look like an input field, just like make it like I'm editing it right now. So kind of like this. So it's seamless.
Yeah,
What do you think?
yeah, it's kind of like content editable. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the ways that I've done that in the past is used like a dotted underline on fields
Mm-hmm.
that are editable. So maybe we could do
Yeah.
that for like the 324 and the 64.
Yeah. Shh. Whoa. I think it is really subtle. So and this one, right?
Right. Yeah, and we wouldn't need it on this one.
Oh yeah, that's not that double. Maybe what do you think about like some um quick controls to change the edition over here? I'm thinking like
Mm,
this is like the default edition, but what if you're reading the audiobook, or what if you have a different edition that doesn't have this number of pages? I mean, you could just like input this, but it kind of like if your edition has 600 pages, that takes a lot of math to. I mean, it's not gonna be accurate
yeah, because
ever, I
it seems
guess.
like the different things you might want to do, like you said, you might want to change the edition, you might want to mark it as read. You might want to rate it. You might want to review it. So it's kind of like, yeah, there are a bunch of different actions that you might want to do at this point.
Maybe just put
the mini book button on there.
Button. Yeah.
Yeah.
Best I can do is the book button.
I mean, that kind of gives people an option to go to any of
one.
those, as long as it's the smallest one.
Yeah. Here we go. So it's this one. Yeah. Could be this. We could make some stuff appear on hover, though. That could be interesting. But so what do you say you could do from this? Let's see if we can actually like split it into some actions. So you said like mark as read, but mark as read would basically be like setting this all the way to the finish, and we could have that as an interaction, right?
Yeah.
So, read. So if you put 100% over here, that would basically be marking it as read.
Yeah.
Or we could have a button. So leave a review. What else was there?
There's edit edition. And also like as Maria mentioned in the chat, like there might be incorrect data. So it's almost like edit edition. If there's a way to like do that super fast from this view. Especially for like the page numbers.
Oh yeah, that's true. So this is like it has to take the data from the edition. I'm thinking, is there a scenario where we can actually let people? Maybe we don't have that edition. They're not a librarian, so I'm thinking, they don't find their edition. That's like something like really annoying. They have to edit the edition. What could we like maybe allow them to set a custom like page count or minute count to?
That's kind of what we do now with the progress. Like if I
yeah, I know, it's like it's that custom like thing you can set that doesn't, I mean, it takes the initial page count from the edition, right? But you can change it.
Yeah, I just threw it in the Figma.
Yeah,
it's like if you select page, then it allows you to kind of edit both the start and the end page. But those are it's in the database, we're not actually saving your page number. We're just saving the percentage, and then we're repopulating it, and we're saving your page number in local storage.
I think that, I mean, that works, right? Because you're only interested in like your page number, except for stats. I mean, are we saving that for stats as well? So it counts towards an accurate page number, depending on like this one.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, this 189 should like be updating some addition somewhere in the background that lets us know an addition exists with this many pages, and this is the addition this person's using. And then maybe in the next time, someone else will use that one. It's almost like this 64. Like as I was saying that, I was imagining this 64 almost being like a drop down for the addition.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like maybe it's like the number of pages in each edition, and so you're kind of like, you're not really selecting the edition based on, oh, this is the hardcover 20th anniversary, blah blah blah. You're setting it based on, oh, this is the 624 page edition. And maybe there's some other data there as well, but that seems like one of the most important things.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking if we should also add like a custom one in the dropdown, just in case you don't. I mean, I was initially thinking to just be able to edit this one, but yeah, it can be like a small dropdown, and you can select your like page number, because yeah, you just look at the end of the book, and you could have like a custom page number as an option, and it turns
Yeah.
this into an input, so you can actually like change it.
Yeah, I think that would work really well for being able to set the edition in a very easy way, very low friction way. Um,
Yeah.
I think like for books with pages, this will work well. For an audiobook, we'll probably have to figure out some other alternative way. But want to keep
Yeah.
going on the pages part for starters.
Yeah. Okay. This is good for now. I mean, this is like great. It's like an easy way to update progress. I'm thinking like Marcus Dread, like leave a review. If you'd want to leave a review, maybe that, I mean, that definitely happens after you mark it as read, right?
Yeah, I'd say, or at least like marking as read could give you next steps from that point, and one of those could be leave a review.
I'm thinking, what if you drag this all the way to 100%? uh Maybe there's a step in between where it asks you, do you want to like finish the book or mark it as read, just so you don't drag it accidentally and mark it as read. Just so, let's think if we ditch the book button. So you drag this, you get like a thing that overlays, so kind of like a contextual action over here. uh, this is just like very, very rough, but yeah, bear with me. So mark it as read. Uh, yes, no. So no would uh, go back. Yes would basically set it at 100%, and then maybe this could turn into leave a review. Somehow, you write review, and then you'd go through the flow of leaving a review. What do you think?
So the idea there was like after you drag it to 100, then
Mm-hmm.
like maybe the card would like it would almost be like a interstitial that shows up on top of
Yep.
that area, like it would like fade in on top of there with like this question.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think something like that could work. Like I feel like that's kind of a missing thing right now. Like it takes two steps to do that today. So if we can group those together, then that would, you know, be one less thing for people to have to do.
Yeah, I'm thinking, it could also, I mean, would basically be, I mean, replacing this and making it so that you can do it via the slider or the page over here. So if you'd set it to 100% via text, just write it down or just drag this, it would prompt you if you want to mark it as read. And then you could leave a review, so you wouldn't have to do that through the book button manually. It would be just like a flow. And if you'd want, maybe we can have like a link to the book where, if you'd like really want to do that, you'd or the cover can be, so if you press the cover, you go to the book page, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I think so. That makes
And you
sense.
can access the book button over there, just not have the book button over here. What do you think?
Uh, I think I like having the book button there just for all the things that we could be missing for like dates read, list management, um, rating.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's just leave it.
because
Yeah, let's
Marcus
just leave
read
it
is probably one step, but there's also rate it, and that's less friction than a review.
there. Yeah, true.
So maybe, yeah, I'm thinking like you drag it to 100%, or you click on this button and you change its status from currently reading to like stopped, like did not finish. then
Mm.
in both cases, well, I guess if you slack this to 100%, maybe we should just like not even worry about asking them anything. We just mark it as red.
Yeah, of
Because
course.
100% like it's red.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more question after that is like, do you want to rate it or leave a review? So maybe there's some other state, which is like, maybe it's like a drop down here or like some other. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like the interstitial over, it's one way of doing it, but like we could also just have like 5 stars here, and you just like click on that. But
Yeah, I'm thinking like after you mark it as red, this is gonna be the only time when it still shows up here. So
true.
it kind of like makes sense to cover it because you're not gonna see it in the widget anymore. So it's kind of like an end currently reading process. So that's why I was thinking to like have these interstitials. So rate it, and then it can be like leave a review, and
I
you
was
can, yeah.
I was thinking like for like letterbox, for instance, when you like what they do is they pop up, and this feels like going back to something we tried before and then stopped doing. But they you know they bring up this modal, um, and that's what
Oh yeah, the
happens.
review model.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I know I don't want us to have a review modal because like having, because if you're like typing and you like mistype outside of the modal and then it might close and you lose all your review. So I don't like it for that. But for like the rating and status, it's kind of neat. But no, I don't want a modal here. Never mind.
Okay. That's a good way of deciding. Okay, we can have the, I mean, I like the interstitial. Where have I seen it? I mean, it's not a pattern necessarily in iOS, but basically it's not a modal. You're like not moving from here to the middle of the screen. It's just like having it over what you are doing, and basically you can dismiss it. But yeah, I don't know.
I have an idea that just came to mind for it. Um, so it's kind of a take on the book button, but it's a little different. I was trying to find your navigation drop down part. So it's like this popover.
Oh, here it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna paste it in here.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea would be like after you complete it, it pops up something like this,
Oh yeah.
and
Okay.
and
So
that
it's,
has
yeah.
like rating, and then like
Mm-hmm.
mark is red. So it's kind of like all the interstitial stuff could just show up in a popover there.
Yeah, of course. So it could be like rated, and you could have the stars over here. Let me actually, I have a component from that. Why am I not using it? Here we go, and it's small. Okay, and rated. Then you'd have like another thing like leave a review like this.
Maria says
And
you're killing it in Figma, Stay.
thanks. I'm on a laptop trackpad, so uh,
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
and we could probably show like um dates red here, and like they would hopefully not need to edit that at all. Like it would almost be like confirmation that everything's working.
Oh yeah, sounds great. Okay, so let me show.
I think I'm gonna delete the icon and then see how our.
Oh yeah, maybe leave a review. What do you think if we make it actually into a
Yeah,
thing that takes you like on a different page?
yeah, I could see that. I was thinking like
Okay.
we have. Yeah, exactly.
And maybe what else was there? Write to review your rating
Um,
and
move this up. Make it as
oh
really big.
yeah.
maybe not that big, but pretty big.
We can even I think we can put it in the sorry, this is just auto layout, so it's hell to edit it. I usually like just group stuff, but yeah, in this case. Here we go. Oh yeah, dates thread. Okay, okay. I knew I
Yeah,
was leaving out something.
and so that would it's kind of like a mini book button in a way, but it wouldn't show up on click. It would more show up when you just like complete, like set the status
Yeah,
to
exactly.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an action prompt. So you finish the book, you get like some contextual action for that thing you just did. So it kind of feels like you're guided and it's automated versus you're changing the status,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah. I think this works well for kind of hiding all these features, but still making them very relevant for when they need to be used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
And after you do this, I'm guessing it would remove it from this list, right? So this would just disappear. Get
yeah,
it.
maybe it just shows up until you like navigate away from this page. like I don't yeah, like I don't
Yeah.
know if it would need to like fade out, but it could just show up until you go to another page.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, if you leave a review and come back here,
Mm,
it's not gonna be here anymore, right?
right. And I
Yeah, that sounds good.
and Ed in the chat said that he sometimes leaves text for DNF reviews, and it seems like that could work where if you like you're not setting this to 100%, you're just changing your status to like did not finish, and then you click on the button
Mm-hmm.
again and you go to write a review. So that case would still be accessible through the book button.
Yeah. Yeah, this is looking good. I mean, you can do all the stuff you can do now, but you have some extra controls, and maybe we'll find. I mean, I kind of sense that there's like a way of updating progress and going through all that flow of marking a book as read, then leaving a review, then adding the tags that we can make even smoother than it is now. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. That like end of book thing. I know we've like prototyped some alternate ways of the review form, and
yeah,
yeah,
right
I
over
want to
here.
definitely want to revisit that again because I feel like even since this, we've learned even better ways.
Yeah, exactly. And there were some things in here that we have yet to apply. So this kind of like leaves us in a place where we have this one's for 2 books right now. But what if you have 3, 4, 5 books? Should we just like do the resizing thing? So this would be like the smallest. This would be like larger, I guess. This would make the widget larger. Let me log this in. So you would have the same widget, but maybe
like 4.
Yeah, if you have 4 books, so you'd have
I'm just gonna
to.
take this one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this would be like the medium, and well, not at the same time, obviously, as an alternative to this one, but you could have maybe 3 sizes, and it would be like 2, 4, 8 books. So for 8 books, it would just be maybe like this, and anything in between could work.
Yeah, because it's like 4 columns exactly. So yeah, we could tile it.
Yeah, this one is I think the most difficult.
Yeah.
Until we get to the next ones, which are probably gonna be just as difficult.
It's the most different until the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just like life. Here we go. So yeah, if you have 6 books, you're just gonna like 3 sizes for the widget. I think is okay, I guess. And we could have widgets that are resizable, for instance, this one and one. I'm guessing there are some widgets which, we won't need to resize. For instance, I can't imagine like the goal being bigger than this, or like this widget, or the based on your reading widget.
Yeah. Like we could,
So
like for the goal one, for instance, we can make like a tiny square one, which is just like a circle that's partially complete, and then that the medium. But maybe there's not a large version, unless the large version we want to also show like the most recent books that you read towards your goal or something like that. But
yeah, oh yeah, true.
but
Yeah, well,
that's less useful than just having it.
yeah. If we can pull that off, let's do it. But yeah, I mean, it makes it's good that the resizing makes sense, but I don't know, does it make sense if we do it like this, so you can actually like resize and reorder? I mean, it makes it like very complicated on our end, but I don't know, we can pull it off.
Yeah, I like the idea that widgets have a set number of rows and columns that they take up, and I think if we go with that as our like our basis for how we design every widget, it's like every widget has for example 3 modes, and in small mode it's always going to take up this many columns by this many, and medium it's always going to be this by this. Then I think that's a good limitation that we can embrace.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good. And, for the currently reading, if you're reading more than 8 books, we can just make it into a scroll area, or just like limit it to 8 books. I mean, I don't have any better options right now in my mind.
I think now that we've like come full circle on this, the idea you had of like having like the little dots to indicate multiple pages, I feel like now I'm more ready to embrace that concept, having like looked at all other available options and ruled many of them out.
Yeah, it might be. We could do like we could even do the thing we did for the Urin books, where we lock in the scroll. So if you have like 2 books over here, and you're reading like 4, and you want to keep this size, it would be these books, and then when you scroll, you could lock in those other books. So what's that thing called when you scroll snap? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could scroll snap and yeah, basically make it into a snapping carousel. And even if you would read like, for instance, let's say 10 books, you'd have these ones and you could scroll and it would snap to the next two remaining books.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
And I like
that's
this
good.
more
Yeah.
than like Goodreads has a carousel that's one high, and that one always bugged me because if I was going for like my fourth book, I have to scroll to the fourth column. But this
Yeah.
one, at least like having it be a couple of rows and a couple of Y dimensions, then that makes it so that if you're reading a lot of books, you're probably just going to use the large currently reading size widget. And then you probably only have to scroll if you're going to your 11th book.
Yeah, exactly. And it gives you a better overview. And if you're reading the most common use case is like 1-2 books, the small one actually does its job. So we kind of like have all our bases covered. Uh,
Yeah.
it doesn't look. I mean, if we made like a universal dimension one, it would look weird if you had like too less or too many books. So yeah,
Yeah.
this
And
is yeah.
I had one thing to show real quick for something that just didn't. I'll share my screen for a sec to show it.
Oh yeah.
It was like for the page number and the percentage number. Something that I was doing on another project is I had these like interactive parts here. And so
Oh
like
yeah.
this is an input where you can enter numbers, or you can click this little drag handle and it makes like the range bigger as you're like in the middle of dragging it. So it becomes a range slider.
Yeah, I like
And
that, and
it's
I've actually used that on your site.
and this ended up being like very, very quick to like people got it real fast. And if they need to enter the exact page number and they don't want to try to get that with the range slider, they can just zoom in and enter it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
real
Well,
nice.
I think I think this will make it a lot easier to update progress on this
Hmm.
widget.
Yeah, it's crazy to me how we're like still uncovering like better ways to do it. I think we'll be like 5 years from now still like thinking of a even cleaner way to do all of these. But yeah, that's why we're
Yeah.
here, I guess.
and we're talking about the letterbooks cards that show up in different contexts, and one of those cards is probably the currently reading card, so we could probably use some of the same style on that card style.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's gonna
Yeah.
be nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Okay.
Just reusing all this stuff.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I think that's the hour. Thanks everyone for hanging around. We solved one widget. uh, they were thinking we'll solve the first four like in 1 hour, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. It's been fun kind of working through this with some feedback, and yeah. I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, see you all next week. Have a good one. Bye
Bye.
bye. See ya.